Think you've seen scary footage? These 7 camera captures will haunt you forever, if you let them. Tonight we're taking a slow, close look at 7 clips pulled from YouTube, TikTok, and home security cams. Each one is short, raw, and leaves more questions than answers. Decide for yourself: glitch, prank, or something that should not be there. 1. Ohio Woods, Dark Adventures, Night Exploration. It begins like a lot of urban exploration videos, a flashlight beam cutting a path through trees, breath fogging the air, the crunch of leaves underfoot. The camera belongs to a woman known online as Dee, from the channel Dark Adventures. She's alone on a trail in Ohio after sunset, narrating in whispered asides, the forest swallowing sound. For the first several minutes, nothing happens but the steady rhythm of walking. Then, something flickers in the underbrush, 2 bright pinpoints, low to the ground, reflecting back at the lens. They are not the casual shine of a deer's eyes. They're unnaturally steady. The shot holds on them for a beat too long. Dee freezes. The forest feels suddenly too crowded. She keeps moving, trying to sound normal, but the pacing of the video changes. Glances to the right. A shadow slides along the tree line behind her, humanoid in its awkward angles. On playback, the figure doesn't dart into frame. It tracks her from the trees and stays just beyond reach. At one point she turns, and the camera catches the impression of a tall, thin silhouette perched between trunks, an outline that seems to tilt its head in a way a person would not. The follower matches her turns, never directly in front, always at the edge. The sequence culminates in a sudden rush of movement. Branches snap, the camera stumbles, and she runs, leaving the frame jerking as footsteps and a thudding, heavy breath fill the audio. The final clip is the night sky, the forest swallowing the light, and then a cut. Low-res grain and night camera noise make identification difficult. Could those eyes be a reflection, a clever light trick, or an animal caught too long in flash? Some viewers argue for a staged scare. Others say the way the shadow mimicked her gait is too intentional to fake. The uploader posted follow-ups, but removed several later clips. Those deletions raise red flags and make verification impossible. Was she being followed, or did something in the dark decide to follow back? If that unsettles you, wait. This gets personal fast. If you want more compilations like this, subscribe now. 2. Anonymous TikTok Household. Escalating Domestic Activity. This next compilation stitches together nights of short clips from an anonymous TikTok user whose account recorded increasingly violent household disturbances. The first clips feel almost trivial. A sliding cabinet door that closes by itself, a spoon spinning on a counter, a lampshade tilting. But overnight the activity escalates. Doorknobs turn when no one's in frame. A frying pan flies across a kitchen and clatters against tile. The camera captures a chair inching away from a table, then slamming 2 feet across a room. Lights flicker in time with the banging. Audio occasionally picks up a faint, high-pitched giggle, childlike but wrong, followed by a low metallic clang that makes your skin crawl. Viewers of the stitched compilation notice that the motion often coincides with the sound of a door slamming off camera, as if the house itself were breathing. The uploader's narrations become less casual over time. Sentences shorten, as if sleep deprivation and fear are taking hold. Then, in the last visible upload, the clip ends on a tossed pan and a door slamming so loud the camera shakes. Days later, the original posts were deleted, and the account went silent. No verifiable update followed. There are plausible non-supernatural explanations. Drafts, pets, someone off-camera playing pranks, or clever editing time to throw viewers off. The rapid escalation and deletion of posts, though, leave an uneasy pattern. Is this a viral stunt that got out of hand, or something that made the poster decide to vanish from view? But the internet doesn't stop once a door closes. 3. Lean R. Chile. Persistent domestic terror, name variations explained. This one is tied to a man referenced online under several spellings: Lean RTO, Lean Rito, or Leonito. The variation in names seems to come from shaky captions and translation errors, but the footage is consistent. Repeated night recordings from inside a Chilean household, captured over many nights. The clips show the same camera angles: a living room, a child's toys scattered, a bathroom door, and an exterior roof shot. What makes these clips chilling is the pattern. Objects move while the camera rolls. Toys fly from shelves. Orbs drift across the field like slow, translucent moons. On one night, the bathroom door bounces violently. On another, the closet shakes as though something inside is pushing. Childlike laughter plays on a loop in a handful of clips, an audio cue that is both familiar and horrific. There are moments that feel staged, and moments that don't. A white figure appears in a doorway in low light, its edges soft like a blown-out highlight. In another clip, a voice imitates a child's whimper so convincingly it makes your throat constrict. The most disturbing shot is a grainy rooftop camera that catches a dark silhouette, kneeling and turning its head toward the house, looking exactly like a person observing from above. Lean's live comments show humiliation and terror. He begs for help in one caption, posts prayers in the next. He says the incidents are ongoing. Technical artifacts could explain some phenomena: motion blur that shapes ordinary objects into humanoid forms, faulty wiring, creating ghostly light, or microphones picking up echoes misinterpreted as laughter. Some viewers suggest cultural explanations, ritual, superstition, or a local legend, but nothing concrete is provided beyond the submissions. Other viewers defend Lean's sincerity. The pattern of repeated posting and the emotional strain seen in his commentary lends weight to a non-prank interpretation. This remains an unresolved string of incidents recorded on camera. The name confusion in comments only makes verification harder. If that feels like too many red flags, maybe Indonesia will change your mind. 4. Edgy, Eggy. Workplace then home disturbances, Indonesia. The next set comes from an Indonesian uploader whose name appears variously as Edgy or Eggy in translations and captions. He documents strange sounds at his workplace. Stalls where customers used to be now echo with distant crying. A piano in a closed room begins to play when no one is nearby. And security footage picks up laughter that stops when the mic is brought closer. There's a particularly unnerving sequence where a camera in a small shop catches a shadow move across the doorway. Then a whispering murmur that, when amplified, sounds like children chanting a rhythmless lullaby. The footage grows worse when the activity follows him home. A baby monitor captures the sudden movement of a blanket and a quiet coughing noise. A bedroom camera records a low thud and the faint impression of something sitting at the foot of the bed, only visible for frames. The couple are shown in one clip the next day, their voices small and hollow, admitting they couldn't sleep and were afraid to close the curtains. Possible explanations include pranksters at the workplace, faulty electrical systems causing strange sounds, or psychological priming. When people expect disturbance, ordinary noises read as menace. Yet the consistency across separate locations, work and home, argues against a single isolated prank. The varied camera types and times suggest something persistent, or at least someone with determination. Viewers debating the clips are split. Staged viral content, or a real escalating intrusion into daily life. Either way, the footage leaves the couple shaken, and their footage continues to circulate. Don't blink yet. France is next, and it gets eerily domestic. 5. Rosanna, France. Apartment hauntings, creeping reflections. Rosanna's account comes with a European patina, a Parisian-sounding apartment, a small playroom, and a tone of weary resignation in her voice. Her clips show household disturbances that begin small and become invasive. The toilet seat lifts and falls with no one nearby. Doors lock by themselves, lights strobe with no breaker tripped. A toy wagon rolls across a living room by an unseen hand. What turns the ordinary into the uncanny is a shot taken through a glass table, where Rosanna's reflection stands with an obvious dark shape just behind her, an outline of a man, not present seconds earlier. On another clip, a low, animalistic growl vibrates through the mic in a way that makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. Rosanna eventually moves out, citing an inability to live there anymore, and later posts are scarce. The move and the cessation of posts are a strong data point. Either the haunting forced a departure, or she chose to break the cycle and disappear from the public eye. Again, deleted posts and a lack of official records make the timeline hard to verify. Skeptics suggest camera reflections, lens flares, and neighborhood pranksters. Supporters point to the growl and the consistent pattern of strange mechanical failures as evidence of something more than optics. Whatever the truth, the most chilling frame is that reflection, one moment ordinary, the next lined by a presence that wasn't there before the camera turned. And then there's the one that involves a child. Handle this one carefully. 6. Anonymous mother and son. Driveway apparition. This clip is short, raw, and respectful in how it was originally shared. A mother records her child running out into the driveway, waving, a simple everyday moment. The boy stops, then visibly recoils, squinting toward the edge of the yard. The camera pans slowly to follow his gaze. For a split second, a pale, indistinct figure seems to stand just beyond the lamplight and then fades as if swallowed by shadow. The boy calls out, and the mother, off camera, moves toward him, concern plain in her voice. There's no screaming, no dramatic soundtrack, just quiet alarm and the natural confusion of a child who feels watched. Because the family chose to remain anonymous and later removed the original post, verification is limited. The footage itself is low-resolution phone video taken at dusk. Compression and motion blur could create a brief, human-shaped artifact from glare or a passing car's headlight. Yet the boy's instant reaction, genuine surprise and fear, rings true to many viewers. When children react spontaneously on camera, it's harder to fake. Still, this is one of those clips where caution is critical. We cannot exploit a child's fear for entertainment, nor can we draw harmful conclusions about what actually occurred. A glance, a vanish, a child unsettled. Sometimes the smallest moments cling. That brings us to the last one, and it's audio first, maybe the kind that stays with you the longest. 7. Nick and Ted, the hunting public, Missouri wilderness. Gunshots, screams, no corroboration. This final clip comes from two outdoorsmen known as Nick and Ted who were out in the Missouri woods filming a hunting trip. Their footage begins light, ambient forest sounds, the crunch of undergrowth, light joking between the two. Suddenly, gunshots. Not the controlled crack of target practice, but frantic bursts that ring out irregularly. This is followed, sharply and terrifyingly, by the sound of someone screaming, long, panicked, and human. The pair scramble, directionless, trying to call in the direction of the noise. There is no cell service. Their cameras catch the audio, but little useful visual confirmation beyond tree-borne shadows. When they report later, they say authorities found nothing in the area and no records matching the incident were produced. No other campers report similar audio. In the clip, the calls and shots repeat before the feed cuts, leaving a trail of questions. Could hunters have encountered poachers? Could animals have been hit and reacted? Could the screams be filmed from far away and misattributed? Or do the spikes and echoes in the audio suggest something less explainable? This episode stands out because it leaves you with only sound, no clear image to pin blame on. The human part of us prefers to see, to name, to solve. But when all you have is noise, the mind fills the gaps, often with the worst possibilities. The lack of corroboration, The rural setting, the absence of police confirmation, all of it makes this clip one of the most haunting because it resists closure. What do we make of all 7? 7 clips, 7 unanswered questions. Each one was captured on camera in a way that asks the same terrible, simple thing. What were you looking at when the camera looked back? Consider the sources: YouTube channels, TikTok uploads, home security feeds. Some files are grainy, some are crisp. A few accounts removed content or stopped posting entirely, which we flagged as unverifiable. For every compelling frame, there is also a plausible, mundane explanation. Reflections, camera glitches, editing tricks, mischievous friends, mechanical failure, or environmental causes like wind and animals. And yet, patterns appear across separate uploads. Laughter that sounds edited, yet plays spontaneously. Figures that behave in ways animals do not. And escalation that feels like more than coincidence. If you had to pick one clip as most convincing, which would it be? Dee's follower in the Ohio woods, steady and patient? The anonymous TikToker's household escalation and sudden silence? Lean R's persistent domestic terror that crosses indoors and up to the roof? Edgy's workplace to home invasion? Rosanna's moving reflection and last growls? The quiet driveway apparition that unsettled a child? Or the audio of gunshots and screams in the Missouri night that no one could later confirm? We leave it to you. Which of these 7 freaked you out the most, hoax or real? Tell us why in the comments below, and share the clip if it kept you up tonight. And one last note. If anything in these videos makes you curious or angry enough to go look for yourself, don't. Exploring alone at night or provoking unknown phenomena is dangerous in every sense, physically and mentally. Cameras can catch the world, but they can't always protect you from what you don't understand. These were 7 terrifying scenes caught on camera. They will stick in your head in different ways, some as images, some as sounds, some as the nagging feeling that something saw you first. Decide for yourself. Just don't watch the last one in the dark.